That's the reason I didn't put it in the session plan today. Is anybody specifically using the client API?
Is it released now and stuff?
What?
Is it released now?
Oh, client API has been out for all the couple of comments.
There's a major upgrade going to it or something, right? That's out now or something?
The client API is a separate project from DotNetNuke. Okay? The client API, and you can check on John Henning's log and you can get to it, is a separate DLL. You can actually use it not using DotNetNuke. Okay? However, it is used in here, and the current one, there is a new one I think out that's in beta, but it's going to work the same way. What they're doing, and my understanding of what they're doing, is they are moving to where they're using JSON more to do the data transfers back and forth. But you can use the client API now. I highly recommend you go and look at it.
Basically, what does it do? It's write JavaScript for you? Does it do a combination? I mean,
well, for instance, it doesn't really write JavaScript for you, but it handles the communications. For instance, it gives you a client object that you can query to say, oh, well, I'm needing to get this piece of information. Does that really explain it? It's hard to get it. Oh, this is a good chance. Read the book. Realistically, it does put some script on the page, but the idea is it's giving you a DOM access to a variable that communicates back and forth with the server, so that this variable can be communicated with the server then knows how to get that information and use it in the server side scripts, server side code, and vice versa. That's the purpose of the client API. Otherwise, you're doing complete postbacks all the time and having to parse out all the variables.
That sounds like that's intended primarily for web clients. Is there anything that's specifically designed as a for non-web clients, like if you wanted to automate, you know, some interaction with the .NetNuke portal?
Okay, say that again.
Like, all right, so I have a blog module running, and I want to use a blog client to post something in there, or I want to actually read an RSS feed and automatically post. So I write an application that's a Windows service that's sitting on some machine somewhere that reads the RSS feed and wants to post to.
Okay, now this is more just between the client, the browser, and the server.
Right.
So that's what.
Exactly. Is there anything that does?
One of the things that with any technology, I don't care what it is, whether it's Linux or Windows or Apple or Macintosh, whatever, there's always people that are just avid fans and people that just hate it. And you always have these things going on. And so it really, in the .NetNuke world, you're going to find the same thing. You're going to find people that wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And they'll give you all kinds of reasons for it. You're going to find others that wouldn't use anything else. They will go around the world just to use .NetNuke. And both sides are wrong. There are times when .NetNuke would not be a good framework in its current presentation, current incarnation. For instance, what if your client, or you, or whoever you work for, wanted a Windows form application? .NetNuke really wouldn't work well for that. So, you know, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Even, in fact, it's not going to cure all of your ills. But the client API, yes, is designed to talk to the browser. Somebody over here.
I was just going to ask you, just to clarify, using the client API would allow myself and my developer to collaborate more on the true balancing act between.
Yes.
That's. Thank you.
Yes, and John has some excellent tutorials on that.
To answer your question more specifically, the blog module is a really bad example because they have implemented a Windows library into it. So
it's a separate standard API for that, but yeah, what I'm looking for is just an automation interface to the portal. So
there really currently isn't one that I know of. I've heard of people, and I've wanted one for a long time, but I've been too lazy to write it. And I've heard of people who've been working on it, but I haven't seen it.
Be a great idea for a custom module that you can sell.
Yeah, and that's the great thing. Whenever something's missing from the .NETNuke framework, you'll undoubtedly probably find somebody out there that has either an open source, a free, or a paid module or a piece of code or something that you can use to do whatever it is you're trying to do. It's a very active marketplace. It really is.
I'm going to put a hat on that I normally get to wear a lot stronger than I did today. I don't think I mentioned security at all today.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got to say a couple things about that. One of them is be very careful. You know, he talks about getting free modules. Get the source code, because this is the best way I can explain it is .NETNuke is a very secure application out of the box. You install my software on it, and I've got a programmer that is done ballistics, and I didn't know it. And he put some code in my module, and all of a sudden your site's no longer private. Okay, you need the source code, especially for free modules.
I'll take that one step more. You want to get the source code, but you also want to build the module.
You're right.
The source code you
Absolutely.
look at.
Absolutely. You get the source code, you want to be able to build it yourself.
That way you know the source code you're looking at is what you're actually running, as opposed to somebody who puts malware in there but gives you the clean source code.
Yeah. And we don't think of that often, and I'll put in the same goes for skins, by the way. But I will put in, the reason I bring this up now is because of the announcement made this week or last week about the arrest made for the Fannie Mae. Everybody hear about that? Nobody heard about that? There was a Unix programmer that got laid off. He put a time bomb in. If it hadn't got, it was caught by accident. If it hadn't been caught, it would have taken down 4,000 servers. Totally wiped them out. They would have been restored to backup. If you have a serious application, if you're working on something that maybe it's not mission critical, but it's going to cost money, if it's got private data in it, you take it seriously. That's my point.
If you don't, Pricewaterhouse people will.
You know, the point simply being, be aware of what you're putting into your application, because when you put a module in, it can interact with the application all the way down to the security level of the user that is using it. Comments? Thank you for your attention. If you haven't got your discounts, and I left some cards over here as well.